You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney Theme Parks podcast, and this is show number 529 for the 1st of December, 2024.
Where dreams begin.
Hello and welcome to this week's Disney Dream Girls. My name is Michelle Young, and together with my jolly good chum Jane Phipps, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. Well, this morning I am joined with our wonderful, delightful friends from Dis Down Under. Hello to Kat and Lewis.
Hey Michelle, how you going?
G'day, Michelle.
Fantastic to hear your voices. A little bit upset to know that whilst I'm dealing with snow and Storm Bert, you guys are hiding from the sunshine.
We are indeed. Got up early, have mowed lawns. I just, I got to the point where I'm like, I can't be out here anymore unless I want all the skin cancer.
And we don't want that.
No.
That would be bad.
It would be.
So that our time zones collide, I set my alarm to get up super early on a Sunday so that we can have a fantastic chat, not only for our podcast, but for an upcoming podcast on your podcast.
Absolutely.
On this week's Disney Dream Girls, Kat and Lewis are here to talk about their amazing upcoming Walt Disney World Cruise Spectacular. Let's just rewind a little bit. Tell us a little bit about why you booked for this time of year first.
Well, this time of year has really come down to Lewis's current job. He has forced leave. Some companies do that over in Australia where you've got set times that you can take your leave. I mean, I know you're familiar with that being a teacher, Michelle, but even in private corporations. So Lewis has got to take off, I think it's 2 to 3 weeks. They actually have a closure. And so that has now become the time that, you know, previously we used to like just mooching about at home, but because of that eating 2 to 3 of his 4 weeks leave per year, it's become a bit of we better do something with that time. So that was the first thing that came through, and we're just like, okay, if we're going to take any holidays, it's going to be around that time of year now. Where should we go? Having done the cruises in Australia last year, did the whole placeholder thing, and then we're like, okay, so what should we do? Should we hang on to these and see when the adventure's going to start taking bookings, or do we start looking further afield? And that's kind of how we landed on, well, you know, we haven't been to Walt Disney World for some time. There's a whole lot more that's been added to the park since we were last there, so plenty of changes. And we can go on a cruise around the Caribbean, which, I mean, let's face it, where else would you want to cruise?
And since then, it's kind of like been really advantageous for us because all the announcements about what's going to be closing down and what's going to be changing. And so, like when we originally went to Walt Disney World, there was still the Great Movie Ride, there was still Ellen's Energy Adventure, all these classic rides were still there, and they subsequently closed down. But we haven't got to experience the rides that have gone in their place. And now there's all these other rides, and like Rivers of America going away, and then changing certain attractions. And so it's going to be great because we're going to go there, and the only thing I think that definitely is going to be down is Test Track. Everything else should be operational, but then a lot of that stuff over the next year will go away after we've been. So I don't know whether it's the fact that we're going that kind of like causes this to happen, but it's kind of cool that we can go now, experience the new stuff, experience stuff that we've done in the past, but then in the next, like, we probably won't go again for another at least 4 years, but the next time we go there, it'll be different again, which is kind of cool.
It's spectacular. It really is. And of course, you know that we travel literally halfway around the world. We're on a 12-hour time difference from the east coast of America. So for us to travel there, we really want to make the most of it. So we looked at timings and things, and looked at the cruises that we wanted to do, and looked at, when I could get leave as well, because, you have to coincide the two. And so we settled on doing, I think it will be our biggest amount of time in the parks. We've got 10 days in the parks this time. And then we're going to do a back-to-back cruise on the Wish.
Amazing. So let's rewind. We know why you're going, and it does make complete sense. Wherever similar, if not as extreme, we tend to spend about 9 to 10 hours flying over to the States. So we're of a similar sort of thing where you get there, you have such a long flight, an expensive flight, and you have a quantity of time, which means you can go and have a more in-depth experience in the parks. So when considering where you wanted to stay, what made you choose the place you are staying at?
We're staying at Pop, and I think our decision was wholly and solely on the fact that for what you pay, you get really good service still. It's really comfortable accommodation, and it is just somewhere to lay your head at the end of the night. We first stayed in Pop, we didn't. We stayed at Pop the last 2 times that we've gone to the parks, but we've also done it as a split stay, so we've stayed in other accommodation as well. This time we're just doing wholly and solely Pop because we realised that while it's nice to go and enjoy a swanky pool or proximity to a certain park or whatever, the time that you the time that you spend in your room is so minimal, and the time that we spend at the resorts luxuriating is almost nil. So why not stay at Pop where we can save a few dollars and spend those dollars on maybe a swanky meal or something like that, but still be really good, really well placed for transport, because what we didn't have last time, although it was being built, was a Skyliner.
And we've stayed in we've stayed in tiny hotel rooms before, like in Japan.
Oh yeah.
Those rooms were like, could you just move so I could just get to the toilet, kind of situation. So
I need you to sit on the bed so that I can go and reach this. It's so weird.
So we've and that wasn't like terrible, because we know that for us, we're not people who will just sit in our hotel room and we get out there and do stuff. So for us, spending a fortune on the deluxe resorts, which we did do initially, that's what we used to do, was go and stay in the deluxe resorts. But then we just coined on at one point, hang on a tick, we could spend a third of this and still have the same experience. So that's why we've become Pop people.
I completely agree, and with you not experiencing the Skyliner, it's going to blow your mind, because being able to get on the Skyliner and get right to International Gateway at Epcot is phenomenal. To get straight to Disney Hollywood Studios is phenomenal, but you also have the links to be able to go to the Riviera, which I highly recommend you go and visit and have a wander around, but to Caribbean Beach. And as you say, it's not really going to be weather where you'll want to spend a great chunk of time by the pool because of the cooler climate. It is December in Orlando after all. So I think that is the best 100% choice.
Did we, when we were there in February, we didn't swim at all that stage, did we?
I don't think we did.
No.
Because that trip was Yacht Club.
Yeah.
It was particularly cool. Yeah.
But Michelle, you've been to Walt Disney World in December. So what were your thoughts? Like, do we need to take heavy jackets, or are we just talking, a light jacket in the evenings?
I'm the kind of gal who will wear shorts and T-shirts and then layer up with a hoodie on an evening, and I was perfectly happy. Now, my first night we arrived, there was a deluge of rain and I literally got wet inside out. So I would have whether it be a poncho or a light jacket with you, because it has been known for temperatures in Orlando at that time of the year to dip quite cool on an evening. And it depends how cold averse you are. I'm a hardened Northern England girl. So, it's only when the snow gets deeper than my Doc Marten sandals that they get put away and the Doc Marten boots come out. So it just goes down to how you feel the cold. Because I'm seeing pictures at the moment from people in Orlando or in Anaheim in the theme parks with like a T-shirt, a jumper and a hoodie on. And it's like 65 degrees. Well, that's like summer for me. I'd be still out in shorts and a vest top.
I think that's the thing is like we'll be going from very, very warm weather here to cooler weather there. So I think pack your jumper, Lewis.
I will be taking my jumper. There's no two ways about that. Might take my nice new Kathmandu jacket as well. It's my light jacket.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember freezing on the beach at Polly and in February. So yeah, I'm aware that it's not Orlando's not hot all the time.
Yeah, and I always think a plan for every type of weather so that when you are there, you have fallbacks because I always have the mantra, take more than you need because you never know.
Yep, no, that's true. And being able to layer is really important so that you can not necessarily have your biggest jumper, but if you can put a couple of light jumpers on, then you're set and ready to go.
At least I know that Kat won't be as cold as she was in Paris when we were at Disneyland Paris around Christmas, New Year's time.
Oh, yeah.
That was full on.
Yeah.
But pretty.
So let's move back to your trip. So we know where you're staying. You're staying at Pop. You're there for 10 nights. What are the key things that you are saying, right, this has got to be a non-negotiable we have to do on this trip?
Well, it wasn't a non-negotiable, but I was really hoping to be able to do behind the scenes the glimmering greenhouses, but that's not going to happen. What I would really like to do is to do oh my goodness, is it The Land?
Living with the Land.
Living with the Land. You can actually go through in the evening and do glimmering greenhouses that way. The real thing that we wanted to focus on in the first couple of days, we've got a couple of days that we'll go to Epcot because we want to go and experience their food festival that they will have on.
Festival of the Holidays.
And so we want to get in a little bit of time there. It's basically a focus on getting the things done that we haven't done before and also getting things done that we know are going to be disappearing after this trip.
That all makes complete sense. And as you will hear on show 5 to 8, we had Anthony Markham, our guest. He's literally going the day this podcast goes live. So he'll be able to feed back and let you guys know whether he was able to get availability for the glistening greenhouses because he really wanted to do the behind the scenes tour as well. And he had the same issues booking it. So maybe he can feed back and say, look, guys, just go on the day and you can get a reservation. So we can wait and see for that one.
One of the things I did find on our friend Reddit was that apparently there's only availability for something like 36 people per day to get it. So I think that those spots will be rare as hen's teeth. And
Rise are not charging more.
yeah, so am I, Lewis.
So what else have you booked in? Let's talk about tours because I know there was a big discussion on your podcast on what tours to do because we were trying to persuade Lewis to do one in particular.
We were. We actually looked at the amount of time that we had in the parks, what we wanted to prioritize. And so we found ourselves looking at Key to the Kingdom and just going, maybe it's a big chunk of our day that we don't want to spend on a tour. While I completely rate the tours, I think that because it's been so many years between trips to Walt Disney World, we just want to get in there, do some attractions, experience the ambiance and experience the park like that. We decided to take that one off the list.
It was 5 hours, I think.
It was, yeah.
And I was just like, 5 hours of our day, that's a lot of day that's gone. So
yeah.
And as cool as it would be, it's just like, maybe next time. It's been there a long time, and it'll probably be there the next time we get there. So
I hope so. But if it isn't, it's like I just really wanted to get that behind the scenes look at the utilidors because, like, who doesn't want to see that?
I'm just scared of seeing something that's going to break my brain, and I can't experience Disney in the same way again.
Okay, well that's fair. I'm glad that we took that one off the list just for your brain because you don't want to be breaking people's brains while they're on holiday.
No.
So the other one was the Wild Africa Trek, if I can say it correctly, and that one, again, we looked at the price point, we looked at the amount of time that it was going to take, and we went, you know what? I think we might take that one off the list too. But the one that actually made it and we got a booking for was the rhinos.
The Feeling Up the Rhino tour.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
Smushing a
apologise,
rhino
Michelle.
is the technical term I think you will find,
Smushing.
Lewis.
I
Smushing.
apologize. Yes, I didn't realize that. My mate from work just came back from an African safari where he saw a rhino, and
You're like, did you get to touch
yeah,
it?
I went, that's awesome. I'm going to touch a rhino. But yeah, so it's but I was not. I wasn't uninterested, but when I heard your podcast and you're like, and you get to touch the rhino, I was just like, that I'd pay that, because I don't know that many people who've touched rhinos, so that's pretty awesome.
Exactly. Unless you are working in some sort of environment where you are caring for rhinos, the only time you're going to touch one is if you're a hunter, which we all agree is bad and wrong, or if you come across one and it's already been hunted. So to be able to go up close and find out about the preservation of the species and to sort of touch its flesh safely as well.
Yeah.
Did one of the things that Paul was saying, when they saw the rhino, it didn't have any horns, because what they've been doing in Africa is they've been like sedating the rhinos and taking their horns off, because that's the only thing they kill for is their horn. So take away the horn, take away the reason to kill them, you got
True.
live rhinos.
And
Seems a little bit unfair.
yeah,
I think the rhino would choose not having a horn over death. So yeah.
yeah, and I think that sadly is a reflection on the situation that you're in. The rhinos at Animal Kingdom definitely are horned, and you will find out how they groom their horns, and the horns are actually made out of the same material, keratin, which our hair and fingernails are. So apart from a defensive mechanism, it does not really serve any further purpose for the animal. And if it's keeping them alive, it's just a sad reflection on the world today.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a really good point. Oh dear.
Let's
It's,
go on to happier
Yeah, I
things,
was going to say
Kat.
let's go to happier things. But I'm happy that I did get a reservation for that tour, because the first date that I wanted to get it wasn't available, but it was available for the second, so that's good.
Now, I know both of you are monster foodies. Let's talk food and your strategy for this year's trip.
Well, it's again a little bit of a how much money do we want to be spending on food this time? Alas, the bank accounts do not stretch for another jaunt to Victoria and Albert's, as lovely as that would be. But we've really kept the ADRs to a minimum, haven't we, Lewis?
Yeah, I think we've still got some restaurants we wanted to hit in there, and some bars and lounges more to the point, I think, as well.
Yeah, that's true. We are, of course, landing on Christmas Day, in the afternoon, evening kind of thing. So one of the things that we wanted to do was to treat ourselves to a bit of a Christmas dinner.
Treat yourself.
Yeah, but obviously we weren't like hung up on necessarily having the traditional fare, because we're going to be celebrating with family before we depart. So we looked at places, and Lewis's top option was Boathouse. And I looked at the menu. I thought, you know what? That might be fun. So we've locked that in for the 25th.
Fantastic. And what I will say to you is I do gather they've brought back that giganormous baked Alaska s'mores dessert, which I don't know if you saw over on our Insta at Dis Dreamgirls.
I did.
We saw it being cut up. It's a monster dessert. Everyone in the restaurant will be staring if you do order it, just saying.
It looks like it's enough for 12 people, Michelle. There's only 2 of us.
Yeah, there was 4 of us and we struggled, I must admit. It's a thing for a family feast rather than a duo's delight.
Yeah, unfortunately. So we might not be looking at that. But yes, it did get the old saliva glands going seeing that Instagram post of yours.
We're touching a rhino on the 1st of January.
Oh my goodness, he's gone back to that.
Like, what a way to start a year. It's like, how did you start your year? I touched a rhino. How did you start the year?
It's smushed around.
Yeah, you've got to get the terminology right, Lewis. Jeepers, you're on the Disney Dreamgirls show now. So yes, Yes, you are correct. Thank you for recognizing that, Lewis. I don't know where to go from there. We've got a few different things booked in. One of the things that Lewis was also keen on doing was doing a Phantasmic dining package, which we've got booked in. And he's keen to do the Hollywood Brown Derby because it works out that we know the sister of a cast member there.
Yep.
So that's where we'll be heading for our Phantasmic booking.
So I'm gonna be texting my mate Lee and just so he knows what day we're there. Just so like so we can get the good seats, not near the toilets.
You're hoping for some perky upgrade. That's brilliant. I love that. Thank you for sharing. We were really keen on trying obviously Ogre's Cantina because, why wouldn't you? So we've actually got a couple of ADRs for Ogre's, one in the evening and one I think around lunchtime.
Not the same day. Not different days.
You looked quite shocked there, Lewis. Of course.
People might be thinking we're like alkies or something. I don't know. It's like, but we watched a YouTube thing yesterday of a couple of young ladies going into Ogre's Cantina and trying literally everything. And yeah, some of those the cocktails look really interesting.
They do indeed.
I mean, I like the candy bacon. I'm just not sure about the Bloody Mary.
Well, you might be fine.
I think they've upgraded their snack options as well, their food offerings a little bit in the bar. So that will be really good to hear back from you guys about.
We'll take lots of photos for you. The pretzel bread looks quite nice with that filling.
That will be had. That will be 100% had.
So we'll definitely indulge in some snackage. We also have a Space 220 lounge ADR. So that's...
Don't we have two of those as well?
I'm not sure. I think we've only got one, but perhaps is another one. I've only got one on my list, but maybe I did add another one that didn't make the list.
Well, one's enough's fine.
Yeah, anyway. We have also booked in at the Edison because, who doesn't want bacon that's hanging from
I want hanging bacon. In fact, everywhere I go, I want bacon.
Okay, well, we can probably do that because I think we'll probably make a trip to Jock Lindsay's at some point.
Oh, yeah. Jock Lindsay. What do they call Jock Lindsay's at Christmas time? Is it Jock Lindsay's? It's usually the Jock Lindsay Hangar Bar, but it's like Festival Bar or something like that. Oh, I'm going to have to find out.
Okay, you find that out. And to wrap up our trip, we're going to go and indulge because we usually go to Tutto Gusto, but this time we're going to go to Tutto Italia and have a bit of a lunch before we depart and head on to the next part of the trip.
That all sounds amazing.
Wait a second. You've missed something out there.
I don't know what.
You missed out Le Cellier on.
I didn't want to go through absolutely everything in minutiae.
But that's New Year's Eve, isn't it?
Yeah, but we're only going to be there at like 8:00. It's not like we're going to be celebrating New Year's Eve.
No, but still Le Cellier is good. Like,
Okay.
That's not
cheesy steak.
Yeah.
Have you any plans for the candlelight processional?
No, we haven't. We looked at it and we looked at who was going to be on, and there wasn't anyone that we really recognized during that period.
Mm.
And it's something you can just see on YouTube anyway, so it's like, yeah.
Fair point. I did enjoy the atmosphere. I didn't enjoy getting so wet, and I didn't enjoy waiting in an incredibly long line. It is a spectacular. It is amazing. And if you want a little bit of Christmas feels...
Yeah. Well, I mean, Festival of the Holidays is going through till the 30th, so you'd imagine that the candlelight processional would be very similar.
It does. It goes to the 30th.
So I'm kind of miffed in a way, but kind of relieved that the Christmas parties are wrapping up on the 20th of December, because I thought that we might have been able to squeeze one of them in, but we'll be able to spend our Disney dollars elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm very happy not to do those.
I just, the atmosphere, like Michelle said, I think that might have been quite fun to go do because we did really enjoy the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party.
Yeah, I'm kind of like excited to be there from pretty much Boxing Day until just after New Year's Day, just to see how the crowds change, because I do know that it's very busy during like Christmas time and leading up to New Year, but I have heard it drops off dramatically after that. So it'd be interesting to see how it goes.
It will be indeed. So that's pretty much our Walt Disney World plans at this stage.
And then on a cruise line?
Yeah, on to the Wish. So we've got a couple of nights that we're going to spend down in Cocoa Beach, and we're going to hit up NASA because we thought, oh yeah, get a bit of space exploration done.
Space, the
I
final frontier. No, wait, wrong thing.
I think that's going to be amazing. I've been a couple of times now, and I can't but say how awesome it is to go and see the rockets up close. So you'll be smushing a rhino and touching a rocket.
Isn't that amazing?
Aren't we smushing a rocket?
Well, no, because rockets don't tend to be as sort of smushy. They tend to be hard and metal to stop them sort of crashing and burning on impact.
I see.
Yeah, that whole coming back to Earth thing means that they have to be made out of tougher metals.
So what you're saying
We've
is
seen a spaceship before when we went on the USS Intrepid. Was there not a rocket on that?
there was a yes, one of the spacecrafts, the shuttles that was on there.
Columbia? No, that can't be it.
No.
Anyway, so yes, we will be going to do that, and then we will be embarking on 7 nights effectively on the Disney Wish. And again, we've taken a bit of a different view to what we pre-booked. We haven't done any of the drink tastings like we have on previous cruises, because what we discovered in Australia is they're all the same. Once you've done it, you've done it. So as nice as it is to go and, try some champagnes, they're the same champagnes.
And also the price is dramatically different to what they used to be. Whereas before it was a nice way of reasonably cheaply going and having a few drinks. Now it's like, this is probably better spent. I could have like 4 cocktails for this price.
Yeah. So I think that we kind of reined in on what we reserved for ourselves. So one of the things that we did do we're definitely having it for the 4-night. We might not keep it for the 3-night. We're not sure. Is the Rainforest Cruise Pass, because that rainforest room looks pretty spectacular on the Wish for one. But it was something that we actually got quite a bit of use out of when we've done sailings on both the Fantasy and the Wonder.
Sounds good to me. Where does your cruise stop at? What ports have you got?
We have Nassau, and we also have Castaway Cay.
Okay. Is that in the total of the 7 nights?
No. So on the first sailing, we have a day at sea, and then we have Nassau. I never know whether to say Nassau or Nassau. Anyway, and then we've got Castaway Cay, and then we head home. Whereas the other sailing is, if I can just jump onto that screen, obviously a little bit more compacted, being a 3-night itinerary. And so we go from my plans.
Isn't it just Nassau, Castaway Cay, and then back?
That's my understanding.
Yeah.
So yeah, Nassau, Castaway Cay, and then back into port.
We both know how amazing Castaway Cay is. It's stunning.
It is. I mean, it's the only place in the world that I feel comfortable going into the ocean. So hopefully get myself a bit of a dip in the deep blue sea, and I'll be quite happy.
Yeah, it would have been the ideal, I suppose, if you could have done Lookout as well, and then seen the both different Disney beach cruise destinations. But
yeah,
I think personally, Flymageddon is putting me off the other place.
Yeah, no, there's that, and also that really long walk from the ship to actually get ashore.
And the tram ride.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So it's just, it doesn't seem like a terribly accessible port, whereas, you think about what you do at Castaway Cay, which is you step off the boat onto a short groin and you're there. You walk past the post office and you're ready to go.
Yeah. It sounds an amazing cruise. It sounds an amazing trip. I know you guys will post quite a lot on your social media with regards to it when internet, etc. is available.
Yeah,
give yourselves
sure.
a bit of a shout out while it's in people's minds of where they can find all the good content.
Absolutely. Jump onto your Instagram. You can find us at Diz Down Under, similarly on Facebook. And we also have a website, which is dizdownunder.com.
So if you have any questions or comments or any top tips you want to share with Kat and Lewis, you now can do so, because as they said, they are not literally setting off till the 24th of December. So particularly thinking about Festival of the Holidays, have you tried some amazing food you want to recommend to them? Things like that. And I know while you are travelling, you'll release a podcast with me talking a little bit more about my feelings on Festival of the Holidays and Walt Disney World at Christmas as well.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. So yes, absolutely. Hit us up with any tips or tricks that you've got for that time of year. And if you're over there, wave out to us and say good day.
Well, I will wish you both a bon voyage. Thank you for joining us. As usual, you can find our show notes at disneydreamgirls.com. You can support the show financially over on Patreon at patreon.com/DisneyDreamGirls, and you can follow us along on Instagram at DisDreamGirls. But until next week, it's a goodbye from me.
And goodbye from us.